Hello friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Breck Roll. Alright, this may be really boring to those of you who live in the snow belt, but we got a little bit of snow last night. I'll actually show you some footage of it actually happening last night, but this is what it looks like this morning. Really kind of exciting for me because as someone who lives in California all their life, this just never happened. And when I got up this morning, all of the grass in front of all the buildings was like this. But it's been like an hour now, and it's starting to melt away, so I figured I better get out here and show it to you while I still can. It's supposed to be in the 50s today, but yeah, this was more than we expected. I knew that it was supposed to be cold last night and that we were going to maybe get some rain, but as I started looking at the radar later in the evening, it actually showed that it might be snow coming in. And then I went outside a couple points and it literally was snowing. Now, it wasn't snowing very hard, so I didn't really expect that we'd get anything measurable on the ground like this. But yeah, this is definitely, I think, what they would call a dusting of snow. But just like I said in the last hour, that has turned into this, because this whole area here was all covered with snow when I got up this morning, and it's almost completely melted away. But that's kind of fun, though, because I was told when I moved here that, yeah, occasionally it snows, but it's not very often. And I got the feeling, maybe once every few years. So it's kind of fun that on the first year that I'm here, I'm getting to see a little of this. But it won't be here for long. Like I said, we're warming up today. Still supposed to be in the mid-30s tonight, but we're supposed to get into I think 54 is the high today. And it's about 48 right now, and it's about 10 or 10:30 in the morning. So I got a few things today I need to do in preparation for, just looking for a job and all that kind of stuff. I think I mentioned before that I'm going to be going home sometime this month to help my parents move and stuff like that. Now, actually, they have movers that are coming in to do most of the work. So the main thing I really got to do, according to them, is just kind of look at the stuff that they're leaving behind and decide if I want any of that. And I definitely want to look at some of my dad's tools. I got many of the things he has, but there's a few kind of nice things that he has that I'd like to add to my collection. And if he's not going to take them with him to the apartment, then it's either I take them or they go to the estate sale. And I don't want some of that stuff to go. So we're going to probably at some point have to make an airline reservation to go back to California. Hopefully this time it's just going to be for a couple of days because there are no health issues to deal with at this point, at least. And if I can minimize the amount of time I'm there, I can hopefully keep the cost down too. One of the big expenses when I go to California is the amount it takes to park the car at the airport. Now, if I live closer to the airport, I could maybe save money and just Uber there. But, when I'm 100 miles away from the airport, it's going to cost as much to Uber there as it does to park the car and leave it. So, it's just that trade-off kind of thing. And so if I can minimize that a bit by just staying for a couple of days, and we can keep our costs down, and that's kind of important right now while I'm unemployed. All right, so I got one more thing I want to kind of say before we wrap up this video. As most of you know, a few days ago I got word that I didn't get that job that I was looking for, that I went to the interview on last week. Now, I'm not really too terribly disappointed with that. I actually do think it would have been a good company to work for, but I kind of heard a couple things when I was waiting for the interview that made me question maybe whether it was the perfect job for me. As I've said before, one of the things I'm really looking for more than anything else is I'm kind of overworking outside. I did that for 11 years at Disney, and while it was nice, the temperature extremes kind of get a little too much, and those temperature extremes here in Texas are going to be even worse. Now, when I originally applied for the job, it sounded like it was primarily an indoor job. But as I got there and actually heard him talking about it, it sounded like it was going to be doing more stuff like unloading trucks and stuff like that. And they also kind of mentioned that they shut off the air conditioning at the place at night to kind of save energy. And so it seemed like it was going to be a lot of hot work. And like I said, I'm not really looking for that. There's a lot of jobs out here I could get if I was willing to work outside. But with the high heat in the summer and with the extreme cold in the winter, that's just I think at a stage I want to be past at this point in my career. Now, in addition to that, I did get some interesting news. Another company that I had applied for sent me a request for a job interview the night that I got the information from the first company that didn't get it. So I actually do have another interview set up for tomorrow, Friday at 3 o'clock. And I've been kind of looking over the requirements for the job, and it does seem that this is going to be completely an indoor job, which would definitely be a better option for me. I also like the fact that they work 12-hour shifts, and so it would be working either 3 or 4 days a week. It'd basically be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and every other Wednesday for 12 hours a day. So that means every week I'm going to get at least a 3-day weekend, and every other week I'm going to actually get a 4-day weekend. So that'll leave me a lot of time to do things like vlogging and buying houses and moving into them. So, I'm really kind of optimistic about this one. I've got my computer working now, so I was able to go over today and get some resumes printed out, get some more reference sheets printed out, and all the information I needed to do. I also actually went over to the company just to make sure I knew where I was going. I usually like to do that when I'm going in for a job interview, because you don't want to be on the day of the interview. It's like, oh man, I can't find this place. Where is it? Where is it? And then you're late. So I've always made it a point when I have a job interview at a place I've never been before to go there the day before, just to make sure I know where to go and where exactly to show up and report and all that stuff. So I actually did go in there. I actually went into the security office where I have to meet at the beginning of the, when I arrive tomorrow, just to make sure that this is the right place. And they did confirm that I have an interview tomorrow at 3 o'clock. So, this is still going here. I'm keeping a lot of irons in the fire, and some of them are starting to pay off a little bit now. So I don't know, keep your fingers crossed for me. Although by the time you see this, the interview will probably be over, but whatever. You know what? Keep me in your thoughts and prayers anyway. Even if this one doesn't work, we'll keep trying. We'll keep plugging away at it. I'm putting more interviews or putting more applications in every day, and something's going to happen eventually. So as I mentioned earlier in the video, I got footage of it snowing last night, and since I got one little extra piece of business to cover, what I'm going to do is I'm going to deal with that and let you see a little bit of the footage of it snowing last night. So I'm going to take this opportunity to thank this month's Patreons. I'm going to put all your names on the screen right here. Thank you so much for supporting my channel. And I think that's all that I have for today. So thank you as always for watching, and I will see you next time on Escaping the Mouse. Good night.